there's plenty of choice.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right there, and what a treat we have. And 5-time U.S. Open champion, SVB, on the menu here in the final 32.
Yeah, just to repeat, if you want to see Table 1, Sufi against Aushin, it is available on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. And Jeremy and I will keep you updated anyway about what happens there and also what happens in the other matches. So Shane van Boening wins the lag. Yesterday against Gary Wilson on this very table, I thought he broke nicely, but had no joy whatsoever with the 2-ball in particular. Maybe things are changing.
Yeah, I talked to him a little while ago when he was walking in for this match, and of course didn't get to see much of his earlier match. He said he played well, and he was happy the way he broke the balls. Don't always know if you're going to get a shot, but good thing about SVB, if you're a fan, and very hard not to be, when he plays a good match, he usually doesn't fall off in the next, especially on the same day. What an opener there on the 2.
He can play shots that others can't. And I think equally importantly, he sees shots that others don't. When you think he's achieved, how many tournaments he's won, how many tournaments he continues to win, and yet the competitive flame still burns bright. Consequence, he mistimed it.
He kind of made a few little adjustments there while he was down. Maybe he should have got back up, but I was going to say he played really a lot of variety of shots here in this opening rack, which is going to serve him well moving forward, but not the miss he wanted there on the 7. You got to be impressed with the Turkish players, right? I mean, how they're coming along. You know, did we get 2 into the final 32? I think so. Maybe 3?
Well, Mustafa Alna has been one of the stories of the tournament. Oh, but after Van Boening's mistake, that's the last thing that Akdag wanted.
Yeah, last I checked, Alnar was getting beat in that final 32 round. Mine's at 5-5 now with Kazakis.
In fact, Jeremy, he's just gone 6-5 up.
Yeah, well, he was down 3-0 to start that match, so he's won 6 out of 8. And obviously breaks the balls well. He's putting some of the score lines together he's had this week.
the missed 7-ball with white and object ball close together did not cost Shane Van Boening in the opening rack. He got a second chance, and you don't want to give SVB second chances. So between racks, let me tell you how they've progressed to this stage. Very different, actually. Shane Van Boening has won 4 matches out of 4. He's won 37 racks in his previous matches, a loss of only 19. He beat Christos Davitas and Ricardo Goodjar 9-2. It was something of a sweat to overcome Gary Wilson 9-7 yesterday. Earlier today, he was 4-2 down against Alex Montpellier of France, but then won the last 8 racks.
Nine ball. Little off. Is the one going to get covered up? It is. So now we get to see a little of the tactical mind. Back nod.
I'll tell you what, when you have a dry break, which is a rarity for Van Boening, and a ball comes to your assistance, what a bonus.
And by far the biggest breaker left in the event. We have a handful of them that can really smash the rack. Eklund Kachi, of course, comes to mind first behind SVB or alongside him. Well, he's going to push out to a difficult spot here, and of course you almost have to, but may get this back. He's pushing out to just a piece of the one. Maybe about a half ball option. This is kind of double kiss-ish as well. I think Shane gives this back. I think he's going to take a look at his opponent here and see what he has in mind. I think he's sizing this up right now. He's not really going to shoot it. I think that's an easy pass. And besides playing this super thin and maybe getting a little action on the 9, I don't really see the future in this.
Yes, especially given the psychology. Arguably the biggest match of Akdag's life. Up against Shane Van Boening in front of the TV cameras at the latter stage of a big tournament.
Well,
but he's coped with it superbly.
Yeah.
So the decision has been vindicated from Akdag.
Yeah, that was impressive there. I think Shane was with me. I thought that sat on a kiss, and I'm not really sure how he so easily avoided it. Gonna kick and run the cue ball here. Or jump and run the cue ball, excuse me. 9 ball. 9 ball. Pretty hard to miss this one, Phil, even though it's a triple combination. Just make sure you don't cut the 2 too much. You can always use the rail.
One, 2-9 for the equalizer. And that is a little bit of symmetry for Ramazan Akdag. And I'll tell you why. I just talked about Van Boening winning maybe 2/3 of the racks he's played here. Even though Akdag is in the last 32, he's now played 78 racks. He's won 39 and lost 39. I'll tell you how. He started out with wins over Mikhail Olek and Oscar Dominguez 9-6. Then he lost 9-1 to Niels Feyen. Bounced back, beating Michael Feliciano, and then earlier today, Chris Melling, both at Hill 9-8 and then 10-9. So he's won 50% of his racks, and he's still involved in the tournament. That's a rarity.
Yeah, very rare. I mean, you may not see that stat again for a while, but I tell you, you got to like that. You know, when it gets close, and he's played some hill matches, he's held up. The 9 moved out of the rack there. That did not seem like the best. And that's the telltale sign. The rack was a little off. Watch the 9 just push directly out. No kiss. That's the one we don't want to see.
The ferocity of Akdag's break is nowhere near that of Van Boning's.
Shane trying to carry an angle, I guess, to come into the 3-7. Dangerous shot. A lot of players would have gotten straighter on the 2 and then played it, what they felt a jam up safety on the 3. Don't know what Shane's got in mind. It's got to be the breakout. Yeah, that's why it's dangerous, I thought. And the reason why he got into the top of the 7, he did hit the 2 a little thick, but he hit it well overall. So got to gamble playing 9-ball pool sometimes, Phil.
Back yourself. But as I said when I was running through his results, Akdag, these are good wins, you know, over the likes of Oscar Dominguez, Michael Feliciano from the Philippines, and Chris Melling. They are good wins. And flowing from them has to be a level of confidence.
Yeah, without a doubt. And especially, you know, probably gets more comfortable as the matches go on. That's pretty natural, but gotta like that he's held up in those close ones like I spoke about before, and get to see a little more of him here. Draw stroke coming. Wants to fall below this 6 a bit. Doesn't want to have to get the 9 involved trying to get from the 6 to the 7. Pretty good cue action, good speed.
Just the umpteenth reminder, but I think it's worth putting in here. It's a 30-second shot clock, 1 30-second extension per player per rack. And if you've got it, use it, even this late in a rack.
Well, this is a hair odd. Coming back and forth, this could fall downward where he gets awfully thin on the 8. That's why he needed to check the cue ball or go past the side and take a little longer shot on the 8. That's just a little experience knowing the slicker table. This is his first TV match table, so it does play just a hair different than the outers. All right, I don't know if he can get behind this for the kick. All right, is he edging this? There's no one better edging the ball from distance. Okay, he just played it back up table. Pretty smart.
That's a safety. The snooker players play an awful lot. Funnily enough, same colour ball, black up the spots. When it goes down to the final ball, that's a shot they have to pull out of their locker.
Yeah, may see a bit of the same here, but the difference is Shane may get a bank he likes to where he can hold the cue ball for shape. Like here, if this ball bounces a bit more, may even get a kiss shot on the 9. I tell you, he may have to go here. May have to go for the bank, drawn into the 9 ball. Could kick behind it. There's some options there.
The 8 didn't fall, but the 9 did. The consummate shotmaker strikes again. Shane Van Boening, look at this. Magic.
Yeah, again, amazing, the pool players. You have to feel that again. Not going to practice these very often. But to be able to cue the ball. Didn't miss the 8 ball much either.
One match in the last 64 still going on. Do Taekien and Simon Corral. Hill, 9-9. The winner of that will take on Skylar Woodward in the last 32. When it comes to the last 32 matches, Daniel Maciol has taken the first rack from Aloysius Yap. Mickey Kraus, what a year for him. What a breakout year for the Dane. He's beaten Chang Yulong 10-7. Albin Auschen has extended his lead over Mohamed Su for just 6-3. Oliver Sholnocki 5-4 over Koping Yi. Koping Chung 3-0 on Mark Beisterbosch. Wins, of course, to report for Johan Chua, Joshua Filler. And some great pool left today.
And I tell you just how these tournaments go, and we saw that in Saudi with Federer really having so many dramatic matches. Oh, look at this 8 ball. It's kind of what you talked about with his match earlier today, but watch out for Koping Chung. Seems like he's been in a tough match every round and somehow makes it through coming from behind, and a lot of close ones, and now he may get to spread his wings a little bit and get going.
That must be tough to take. He looks around there, he thinks, ooh, this table's ripe for the picking, and all of a sudden, the 8 ball spoils the party.
And I tell you, when Shane breaks the balls, he just gets always so much 9 ball action. You just can't turn your head. Prudent play there, rolling out to the kick. Too many balls there in the center to push out where he could see the blue 2. It'll be too easy to play a safety. You can't really question giving this back. I mean, if you don't feel confident in it, it's still a kick shot. So Shane's got to execute. All right, watch out for the scratch. He's trying to get separation in the lower left. He got the 2 where he wanted. All he could do.
By the way, I gave out those last 32 scores a moment ago between racks. One last 32 match yet to begin. David Al-Kaidi against Fitim Haradinaj. And the reason I'm mentioning it, the significance, Al-Kaidi or Haradinaj will play the winner of this in the last 16 tomorrow.
Yeah, and David, of course, trying to make some noise, getting into those European teams that will face Team Asia in the inaugural Reyes Cup. And of course, the climax of the year, the Moscone Cup in Orlando, Florida, come late November, early December. He's played a nice one here, cut off the kick to the bottom rail. So Shane's going to the air. I think he's just got to hold the ball. The 2 may catch the 6 or the 3 coming back up, but just try and hold the cue ball as best you can. Yeah, just like that. And just take your chances, really.
And if Akdag can get through to the blue too, it is the merest sliver.
Yeah, that's right. It's just enough to be able to scratch in the upper right, though, so I don't know if he can really take on the cut or just kind of cut the 2 towards the upper point of the left middle and run the cue ball down the right side. Yeah, it's been pretty on point here. These are good shots he's playing. Shane will size up a 2-rail kick at this 2 ball, put a little speed on it, try and cut it back into the side. Doesn't really have to add any spin, and you want to stay away from spin if you can. Now the key to speed on this is so the cue ball will continue down the table. Maybe the 2 catches the point, goes back up. Oh, he added the spin. You want to keep that one more natural if you can.
Yes, it didn't just skirt the 2, it came well wide of it. And now with the ball in hand, level pegging seems likely.
And we talked about, you know, sometimes when you don't know an opponent, you get in situations you want to see what they have tactically, and Akdag has shown us pretty solid stuff so far. Treat we have in the next match, Fedor Gorst and Alexa Paselj. That's a repeat of a semifinal last year in the U.S. Open.
Yes, and while Gorst will be favourite, of course, you always got to respect the chances of Paselj.
Yeah, I put him right where that, you know, Mickey Krause and Sanjin kind of remind me of each other, those players that can break the balls really well, pocket the balls well, getting smarter with the game every day, it seems. And just like a Robbie Capito or somebody like that that's broken out already, I think it's not going to be long for Alexa, Sanjin, and Mickey get one of these titles. Oh, that's a big miss.
Out of the blue. Well, there is one good thing to these centre pockets being tight. They're tight for the white.
Yeah, and I don't think he should be upset there, really. I think he got way more out of the cue ball than he ever expected. I mean, if you look at that shot from distance, you don't expect to get that much grip, and I think he can leave that one behind. Now, this has got to slow down, or else he's going to have to take the 9 on from some piece.
Not a gimme even for the great man. But it was floated in with ease. Shane Van Boening came close to scratching there. He came close to losing the rack before that. Akdag, though, missing the green 6 ball down the rail. And because of that, it's 3 out of 4 for Shane Van Boening. At Marathon on table 6, Do Taekian and Simon Corral still 9-9. So Skylar Woodward continues to wait for his last 32 opponent. Daniel Massiol 2-0 up on Aloysius Shiab. Albin Aushin looking good against Mohamed Soufi now, 7-3. Kopin Yi and Oliver Sholnoki 5-5. Wojciech Szewczyk, Jeremy was commenting quite correctly earlier on about the fact he's been winning so many matches in a canter. Well, he's 2-0 up on Emil Andre Gangflo of Norway. Alexander Kazakis and Mustafa Alner, 6-6. And to come, the likes of Niels Fine against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, Shane Walford against Mateusz Snigotsky. And of course, as Jeremy said also, Fedor Gorst, Alexa Pashelsh on the main table after this.
Yeah, more 9-ball action. It's going to get dressed up on the 3 here, so has a good chance to extend the lead. And I just kind of really love the changes and proper changes and well thought of changes here at the WNT. You know, like, you look at a rack like this. You know, if we're playing on the 4.5, 5-inch pockets, which some tournaments used to play on, this is just a foregone conclusion he's going to run out. But even though he's set up nicely, he's still got to pay attention every stroke. I think that makes for so much more entertaining viewing for our spectators and fellow players.
Going to give you a mid-rack result. Simon Corral has beaten Do Taekian 10-9, so into the last 32. The US Mosconi Cup captain awaits.
Yeah, and Shane not with the cue ball on the string just yet. He's kind of getting through these racks. This is an odd one. Not the type you want to roll. A little funny to stun. Yeah, I thought it was a little weird because you play a heavy stun, you're a little worried if you just off a hair, you may pull the cue ball in that lower left corner. Seems easy to overcut that shot.
Seems strange to say with him being 3-1 ahead, but he's not with it yet. Not in total control by any means.
Pretty good discipline. He's really shown us a lot tactically, but you know, a lot of players might say, let me shoot at that 9-ball combination there and try and get the cue ball back in that position, but then you kind of lose a little accuracy with the cue ball.
Okay, it might be awkward queuing, but the path to the pot is there. Not just bridging over the 9, but also uncomfortable where he's placing his bridge hand near the pocket. Well done.
Yeah, and I know he's a little out of line with the cue ball here, but I think the emphasis had to be the 5. What happens with that shot and the way it gets away from you, just lose the tip position just a little bit. Don't have the draw really kind of slow the cue ball down for you. Now he's going to go cross side here, or is he drawing on the 9? this is going to bounce, I think, anyways. No. This may have gotten awkward. Now, here's where you can use distance if you don't know anything else. Could cut the 6 down to the bottom cushion, trying to come 2 cushions to the top rail. Maybe even get behind the 7. Is he going to try and pinch this bank in? If he hits it hard, I don't think he has a chance. I think this has got to be a soft stiff on the 6. Oh, wow. His eye fooled. So the angle wasn't exactly what we were seeing.
Three-one becomes 4-1 in consecutive racks. The 6 ball proves a thorn in the side of Ramazan Akdag. Okay, then we can now concentrate solely on giving you the scores from the last 32. The last 64 is history. Daniel Maciel 2-1 on Aloysius Yap. Albin Aushin moving towards the winning line. He's 8-3 up on Mohamed Soufi. Oliver Sholnoki from Hungary, the finest player that country's ever produced. He leads Kopin Yi 6-5. Koping Chung 3-0 still over Mark Bosch. 2-0 still for Wojciech Szewczyk over Emil Andre Gangflo. Mustafa Alner and Alexander Kazakis 6-6. And that's it for the matches that are taking place right now. Again, that 9 ball seriously moving.
Yeah, it seems like he's amping it up more and more each rack. And I think maybe a little frustration just because he hasn't played his best just yet. Now he's going to roll the ball. This is a little touchy, trying to go behind the 3-9. Looks like something that's very simple, but from distance, I may push through here and move the 2 up table and come with the rail and then on the 3-9 rather than just naturally light on the 3-9. I think a little more secure that way. Yeah, I like that play much better now. He didn't check the cue ball with a little right English. Thought he'd have a hair spin, but I think it was still a better option. Surprising there. Thought I may run the cue ball because anytime you're putting the 2 down the table without the snooker with the 3-7-9 there, you got to know you're going to take the worst of it. Now this 2 got a hair odd, but if it laid near the rail, it would have been a little easier. Shane may have to kind of pinch draw this from distance, which is not the easiest shot. That's just how difficult the safety really laid.
Akdag's only rack win so far was the second when he pulled off a 1-2-9 combination. How about the 3-9? In he goes. That was a vitally important rack for him. Shane Van Boening was in danger of riding off into the distance. It's 4-2 now. Just looking at Van Boning's record this year, in terms of total pool earnings from all disciplines, all tournaments, he's third on the list. If he were to triumph in this event, it would be his 10th title of 2024, with plenty of opportunities left for more. Bayou State Classic 9-ball he won. Of course, the big one was the Premier League pool. Recently, we've been talking about his wins on both sides of the USA. The Weir Memorial in Washington State. And then one pocket and 9-ball success at the Big Easy Classic in Louisiana. He travels a lot. He wins a lot. But he knows winning is never easy.
And solid break off there. Really good timing. That's why you see, even though not putting the speed that SVB's putting into him, but when the timing's good, he certainly didn't baby the rack. You can see that you get really good spreads. Got to look at the 2. Got to maybe ease this a bit. He's a little thin. He doesn't want to really bring the 6 and 9 into play as he comes down for the red 3. Yeah, super nice opener there for Akdag. Yeah, it looks like, is he looking to go into the 6 here with the cue ball? That's kind of what he lined up with this cue stick. I don't know. Okay, that's what I was concerned about. Is he going to tie the 6 up with the 5 on the other end? That's why I may have just run up the table and taken a longer shot on the pink 4. Now he's looking to maybe open. Come one rail into the 9. Could handle coming into the 6 as well. Pretty thin. So I don't really think he can get real close to the 6. The 7's on the side rail, so he's got a lot of work left.
Now this will test nerve and cueing. At least he's just off straight. Bodes well. Cue ball does not though. Okay, the scratch has been avoided. What a horrible shot to face.
Yeah, and that last shot, you got to realize it's going to be hard and it's delicate to kill the cue ball trying to come backwards. You probably need to learn or make the decision to stun back and forth. A lot of elevated on this cut shot here. When he miss it, he'll curve the cue ball.
You cannot give SVB gifts. He did so in the fourth rack, missing the 6 down the rail. Now it's the 8 that goes astray. (5-2) to the pre-match favourite. This was tough, wasn't it, Jeremy?
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, he had a lot of elevation. I thought he'd level out a bit more. Of course, you're always going to be a little downward when you're on the rail, but you gotta make sure it's not too much angle. But really, Akdag's had his chances, right? Tactically, he's beaten him to the shot a few times. Just got to finish.
I know you hold Shane Van Boening in the highest regard. When was the first time you saw him play?
Actually, I played him. That was the first time I saw him play. It was in Reno at the Sands Regency Pro event, probably 2004 or 5. I actually played him there twice and lucky enough to beat him. Of course, I was playing quite a bit of pool at that time, but they were both close matches, and I recognized quickly what kind of talent he was. And of course, you never know where it's going to go, but I knew it was going to go up. But to the moon it went, I'll tell you. And since those couple wins, wow, what unlucky scratch here. But since those couple wins, I haven't beat him very often since. I'll tell you, I think I beat him in a one pocket a match or two, and I beat him a couple Banks matches. But my record against him is probably as poor as I've ever had against any player. And I feel like I'm not too alone in that regard.
One recurring theme here, and it might seem strange to say this given that he's won 4 out of 4. And he's going okay in this match as well, but I think his general luck when breaking has been poor, been wretched.
Yeah, not many shots on. And the funny thing is with him, he gets really good spreads usually. Here, there's a little bit of cluster, but he gets such good spreads. When he doesn't get any luck, it's kind of like, seems like hard luck, really. Now a kiss off in the side. Now this just almost feels like a must, doesn't it? With so many chances in the last few racks to get games on his side, that Akdag's really got to get these balls down and get this match to 5-3.
Now, from behind the pocket, that looks quite tight.
Yeah, he had a look at it, and a good look at it when he had ball in hand, so definitely plays. Looks like plenty of angle to kind of stun draw 2 rails out of the lower corner, lower right corner. Now this shot, you really want to pay attention to not landing on the rail and somewhat straight. On the 8, or the object ball's that much off the cushion, that being the 8. As long as you're off the rail, you can handle almost any angle. Or angle lack thereof. All right, make sure you get through the ball. Tendency is to hit this a hair thick on the thin angle.
No alarms here. Well, at least it's an equal opportunity 2-ball, treating Akdag the same way it's been treating SVB.
Yeah. Kind of like what you see on the breaking in overall. I mean, cue ball getting kissed here and there and can't determine what's going to happen. What you do is try and bury that one and see how they unfold. And this is the part I've been pretty impressed with, though, is tactical side. So difficult push out here. I'm trying to figure out where I would push. Of course, a 2-8 combination is a little playable from certain positions. The one you got to fear, though, is he leaves him the angle to come off the 2 and come some few rails behind the 3, 4, 6. I think that's the shot, really. You have to execute, of course, but it's definitely there. Coming off the right side. Wrapping the upper right corner. And dropping the cue ball a few cushions behind the pink 4 and the 3 and 6. I think he's supposed to take this on.
cue ball. Throws wide of the 9, and the 2 sits up.
Yeah, treacherous little first shot here. Not only to a tough upper left corner that we've seen be very stingy at times, but I think the cue ball position with the 7-9 there, it's not the easiest or most comfortable shot to kind of like float, kill out to the center and accept a cut on the red 3. It's got to beat getting by the 8 as well.
That did not threaten.
No, and I think that was all about trying to get on the red 3, made that, or promoted that miss, let's say. Now, can he cut this in the side pocket? Definitely play it off the 8 if he had to. I think it is cuttable. May come right over where the cue ball's at now. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 rails for position. Ooh, he overcut it. May have gotten away with it. Not sure if we have an age for Akdag, but I think how we've seen him get this far in the event is he's pretty smart with the cue ball. Plays position pretty nice. Tactically he's been good. He's breaking the balls well. And from what I see, when he's comfortable pocketing the ball, he becomes a very, very dangerous player. And probably what he's done most of this trip here in Fulda is knock them balls in, and why he's in our final 32. Through the years, there's been many, many great players like that. When they're comfortable pocketing the ball, they become as dangerous as any player in the tournament, really, to win, just because the experience and the know-how is there. Tough shot here. Yeah, hard to get the snooker, I think.
Not his first rodeo. Akdag, he's 33.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. And obviously easy to tell he's not in his teens or early 20s, but I felt like he was a pretty experienced player that, displays putting on in a lot of ways. And like I said, when he gets comfortable and dialed in, knocking the ball in, I think he's a player that is, like I said earlier, very dangerous. And what a ball he knocked in there.
That would be a tidy twosome in the World Cup for Turkey. Akdag and Alner.
And you got to believe there's probably some more players in Turkey with the skills. Certainly on the improve like these two. Okay, got enough. You can easily hold for the purple. 6-7 close. Little work from the 8 to the 9, but nothing major.
Hit that one poorly, and that's why ideal position on the green 6 ball has been forfeited.
Yeah, I got a little snatchy with the swing, and what happens is your cue ball slides a little off impact versus rotating, and don't get the movement on the cue ball. Usually catch a little thick on the object ball. Watch out, 8 here. Nice recovery. Very well done.
Candidate for his best shot of the match so far. And he's doing okay. Cheeky little double on the 8, and now it should be the 9 to follow, to trail by just a single rack. In the 7th, when Akdag overcut an admittedly tricky 8-ball, and Van Boening stepped in to lead 5-2, most would have thought SVB would pull away. Still could, but Akdag is now only 1 adrift at 5-4. Daniel Massol 4-2 on Aloysius Schaap now. Mohamed Sufi pulling 1 rack back against Albin Auschen. It's 9-5 in favour of the Austrian. Oliver Szolnocki 7-6 over Kopin-Yi. Bosch de Bosch and Koping Chung still 3 racks each.
Another solid break off. Really a little unlucky. The cue ball getting kissed directly back. Been solid with the 1 in the side. Made the 8 in that same side pocket. Now a decision on the 2. Cross bank this, I think. Try and make it. This is the beauty of this cross bank. Again, don't bank it low. Try and hit the top of the pocket. That way the 2 comes back across to the bottom cushion for a backdoor safety, but it does not really want to hang on this angle unless you hit the bottom cushion or the bottom point with the 2. So be aggressive here. May have to shoot the 3 from some distance, but that's okay. Great stroke. Ooh, he did catch the top point. That's the rare one there. I think he's got to be happy the way he hit that ball. Just a bit unfortunate. Of course, winning games will help, but I think he's starting to get a little pep in his step, so Shane needs to pick it up. Didn't get much in the cue ball. This is a very difficult shot. I don't even know if he can go forward. Is he going into the 6? Don't believe he can roll it. So definitely a missable ball here for SVB.
And again, not just missing, but missing by quite some way.
Yeah, and just like I said earlier, he started to break the balls harder and harder, and that's some type of frustration overall. I don't think it's shots after the break. I really think it's some mistakes he's made that have gotten underneath his own skin.
Now suddenly the pressure in many respects switches. Always Akdag has an unbelievable stroke of fortune. Right now 5-4 down. Van Boening struggling a little. Akdag maybe sensing a chance, and the nerves increase, but when you have luck like that, it doesn't matter about nerves.
Yeah, and again, there's, of course, getting corner hooked there, avoiding the scratch and making SVB just have to curve it one. But SVB's lost his concentration a bit, in my opinion. Not a guy that steps away from the table on a timeout too often, unless, you know, of course, a bathroom break or whatever. But I tell you, it'd be good for him to step away, get a breath of fresh air in between games here shortly.
Well, he missed the 3 badly, and he did not deserve the golden fortune he had. That ball so deep in the jaws of the middle pocket, it prevented Van Boening having a shot, a clear shot. What a turnaround, hey?
Man, got just enough angle to make this somewhat routine, stunning across. Yeah, smart going forward there with the 7. Froze to the cushion, trying to come backwards. Easy to pull that ball off the rail.
Although he wasn't at the peak of his powers when Shane Van Boening led 4-1, it was hard to imagine this scoreline. It's now 5-5. Skylar Woodward 2-0 up on Simon Corral, who has played a marathon match and had to go almost straight back on. Daniel Massillon 5-2 on Aloysius Schaap. 4-4 now, Koping Chung and Mark Bosch de Bosch. 3-1 for Wojciech Szewczyk over Emil-Andre Gangflow. And look at Van Boening there. He's been there and experienced pretty much everything in the world of pool. But I think Jeremy Jones, as always, is absolutely correct. He needs to arrest this slide, and quickly.
Yeah, and Shane usually, kind of gets it back together if it's like, not getting shots after the break, whatnot. You can kind of chalk that up, but the one that lingers sometimes, and not just with him, all of us, but we've seen it with Shane before that, if he makes a couple mistakes or a couple strokes he doesn't like, doesn't take advantage of a situation, certainly improved in that department, but you can get a little sideways for a bit. Got to get it together. All right, first time the one's been missed in the side by Akdag that I can recall. Did get the 2 down though.
Yeah, you see, that won't improve SVB's mood. That rogue 2 falling.
I think this ball cuts, and I think the speed's okay to go back and forth, to fall on the 3 in the lower left. Does have to get on the pink up table, then back down for the 5, back up for the 6. So a lot of work here. He's looking to draw off this ball with low, maybe a hair of outside, coming towards the 3 and 7 with the cue ball. We'll watch his tip position. I think it definitely makes this shot a bit more missable. When you're in close proximity, easy to hit this thick with the deflection from the right English. He caught it thin. Wasn't going to like where he got for the 3 anyways, but I'd rather be there than probably Shane shooting.
Very much mid-match, but you get the feeling this is a really important visit.
Yeah, and he didn't get prime on this combination. Did hit it well, and how pure. Did you see how far the 3 went through the 7? Wow.
More than a little venom in that one. Couldn't get the cue ball wide enough, could he?
A little shocked he played it that way. He could have laid up for the thin cut, but felt good about trying to lengthen the cue ball. Going to use the 6 here. Can't quite Can't tell. We'll know here in a moment. 4 went right between the 8 and 9.
While Akdag is down this end of the table, SVB couldn't resist a peak.
And a lot of times when you have a ball attached like this with the 4 or 5, you can figure out a kick that kind of makes sense, but didn't really see one. I don't blame him kind of rolling the dice there. This ended up a little 50-ish as well. Of course, SVB never labeled a slow player, but don't you think for a few games he kind of was getting down on the ball a little quick? I think there was definitely some frustration there.
Yeah, seems generally irritable.
He's going to have to make another nice one here. I'll tell you, this is a shot that players need to practice more often. Yeah, just so many things go wrong with that little bitty jacked up shot, especially when you have to go forward with the cue ball at somewhat of a lighter speed. When you can hit down and kind of stab and add a little more speed to the stroke itself, it seems to be higher percentage for these players, but I think it's something that's definitely needs worked on more often.
What an opening for Akdag. Never been in front, but he should be if he puts the next 3 balls.
Yeah, it's all about this 6 ball really with the 8 and 9, but I tell you, the way this guy breaks the balls, this could get a little bit out of hand for SVB. He may sit for a few games. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all.
All the way from 4-1 adrift to 6-5 ahead. Here's the underdog going to bite. Better fortunes for SVB's fellow American Skylar Woodward. 3-0 up on Simon Corral. It's 6-2 for Daniel Maciol over Aloysius Schaap. 7-6 still for Oliver Sholnocki against Koping Chung. 5-4 over Mark Bosch. 4-1 for Wojciech Szewczyk against Emil Andre Gangflo. A really good match on table 2. Alexander Kazakis and Mustafa Alner have been trading blows, and it's 8 racks each.
Yeah, KD going to get started soon with a big win and an easy win in the last round. I think it's going to be a bit tougher in his next. It's Hara Danaj. He's been playing some great pool. And again, missed the one in his last break off, but what I've seen so far, I'm pretty convinced that's not going to happen again. Cue ball got kissed downward. Don't know if the 2's going to open up. Maybe another cross corner bank on the 2, but I'll tell you, that was a nasty kiss because this cue ball was going to be relatively close to the blue 2. Now the 7 was always going to cover it, it seems, but maybe he doesn't have enough of the blue 2 for the for the cross corner bank.
Tense moments, this, for one of the tournament favourites. Not quite, and sticking over the pocket.
Yeah, and that's rare from that bank hitting the top jaw and wanting to hang. It happened to Akdag as well earlier in this match, but yeah, caught that thick. He's not going to be happy there. Could have played that with a little more inside spin, but got a chance to win 5 in a row here and take a 2-game lead. Wouldn't be the worst to really pull this with a lot of low left and come 2 cushions into the 6-9. I think it's a friendlier way to make the ball, and very hard to end up with not a shot. Caught it to the top side, so this is going to run maybe a little past the angle he wants. Still, Phil, you'd have to say, right? Doesn't it seem the cueing's getting better?
Quite often when we've had the camera on Akdag, as he's been playing shots, I've been watching his body and his arm to see any kind of tremor or shaking. Nothing at all. Seems pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to play here. Be a low percentage combination and probably cross banks this 6 to the bottom cushion, trying to use the 7. And there you want the cue ball. Now, he definitely wants the snooker here if he can get it with the 8-9 in play on the bottom cushion. If he lets him see the 6, Shane will have some safety options. Great speed with the cue ball, though. You always want to give them somewhere to rest their hand, Phil.
Many players are intimidated by reputation. Akdag gives me the impression he isn't. Many players are intimidated when they have a chance to beat a big name. Maybe Akdag isn't one of those either.
Yeah, well, you got to believe the run he's made through this tournament. You know, most of his opponents were big names to him, you know, maybe past the first 2 matches. We're desperately trying to get the 6 to the side cushion. Going to be faced with another difficult task here in a moment, most likely, Shane, because the safeties have been pretty on point. Going to go for this bank.
At this stage, with an opponent under the cosh, keeping it simple is the way forward.
Absolutely. And Shane's shown a little chink in the armor, so don't go the extra mile trying to get a devastating snooker.
Cue ball in close proximity to the 8. Cover is achieved by the 7. We're going to see a little bit of Shane Van Boening Stardust. One of Akdag's worst mistakes in the match was in rack 4 when he missed the 6 down the side rail. The 6 going astray here could also lead to loss of rack. It should lead to loss of rack.
You know, I was curious there on that 7 ball because he was pretty close to it. I thought he could kill it rather than go across and make this 8 to the 9 a little easier. Yeah, this is going to end up short, and he's going to have to bank the 9 if he gets a bank at all. And he's already used his extension, so you don't have to rush it, but you have to be aware. Going to go for the bank somewhat medium speed. Trying to open it up.
Money in the bank. That was a vital shot, wasn't it? He's living on the edge, he's living dangerously, but Shane Van Boening is back onto level terms at 6-6. In this match, he's produced several eye-catching shots, but he's also made plenty of errors. Quite often, positionally, he's been well below his best. It's 6-6, and what started out as a best of 19 rack match is now down to a best of 7. A race to 4 from here. He's been in tight spots so often before, and when you have been on a regular basis, you're well equipped to deal with that pressure. That's not to say, though, that Akdag won't deal with it himself. Biggest news out there so far, Ko Pin Yi on table 3, 8-6 down to Oliver Szolnocki. Table 2, Mustafa Alner on the hill against Alexander Kazakis at 9-8. And defending champion David Al-Qaedi has lost the first 2 racks to Fitim Haridinaj. Now this time, the balls are decimated, and the 2 says to Shane Van Boening, well, I've plagued you enough. Can't keep doing it. I will be available to pot. But then, what follows? Immediate loss of shape. We see it in all cue sports. When you lose position, it's a snowball effect.
just a perfect shot there. Perfect shot selection. Totally by design. I tell you, I might kick in between these balls off the right side rail here and go one rail at the 4. Like go between the 5 and 8. This to me looks a little tricky. Oh, nice contact. Certainly take it.
Nicely done.
Yeah, he's got to show us another. Just got to bear down and roll this in somewhat smoothly. Looks like he's wanting to hit down on it. Yeah, sweet stroke.
Two balls away from going back in front. (7-6) to Van Boening. I think the way the results have gone today in both rounds, you could never say this has been a freaky Friday at the European Open. We've had the odd upset, the odd minor surprise, but if Van Boening were to lose here, that would be one of the biggest shocks of the tournament. He's well used, though, to being shot at by underdogs. He knows how to fend them off. And he's been involved in the highest pressurised situations game of pool can provide.
Yeah, without a doubt. And well said. And I'll tell you one thing else he has, which is extra special and has gotten him many titles here and there, is, you know, how he lost his focus there. You know, it's hard to lose that focus and get it back in mid-match. It just is. I mean, just ask many players about that. That's why they try to maintain it no matter what. But Shane has a rare ability, and I wouldn't even say it's like leave it behind, the negative that he had. It's just like a rare ability to just turn a switch. Just like that long 4 ball and the 5 down the rail. I mean, those are missable balls if you're totally in focus. But you can see it's been a little struggle here and there in this match. And wants to end it well.
Well, look at this. 8 ball goes in, and in one sense at least, he's on the one. He's right on it.
Yeah, and good for him. He's got a pretty natural grouping of balls to get behind with the 7-9. Looks like it could be a little tricky, like he may have to masse the cue ball off the one to make it get to the rail quickly to create that angle. Otherwise, is he going to move the one enough? Yeah, that's just what I was talking about. Is he going to bump the 7 on? No, this is just perfect. And that's what I mean. Look at his demeanor now. I mean, it just looks totally different. Like he can flip that switch really like no other. All right, looking to tie a ball up. That's how devastating and good the snooker is. All right, pretty good work.
Yes, deliberate foul shots are allowed, of course.
Yeah, I wonder what Shane does here. Does he come behind this a couple rails to get the 2 up in the corner? Maybe an odd combination on the 9. Yeah, that's what I would look at here, going into the 4-6, following the cue ball after playing the 1 in the lower corner. Now here, when you're playing a shot and it's real particular, the line on the cue ball, it's not like a big area. Don't take your eye off the prize, that being the 1 ball in the corner. He wants a little speed, that way he's not shooting jacked up. Okay, now decisions. I think it is a 2-9 though.
It was an off-kilter 2-9 combination, but it was off-kilter and ultimately on target. 8-6. Very well played. There are combinations and combinations. Jeremy, that one, that could easily have been misjudged.
Yeah, well, this race to 10, you know, it may allow a little bit of, you know, lost thoughts and maybe losing that concentration. But now we're nearing the end of this match. He does have a 2-game lead, but he's got to maintain. Got to feel like he's going to persevere here on the break and start to get some shots.
He's nearing victory. So too Koping Chung, now 8-4 up on Mark Bosch de Bosch. And a really good start for Skylar Woodward. He leads Simon Corral 5-1. Now let's have a look at this cue ball here. It was going into a danger zone, but it caught the 6. And everything's okay from SVB's perspective.
Yeah, I think he's got to go into the pink here, Phil. So it is a little gamble. You never know exactly what's going to happen, but it's close enough. Should be able to control it somewhat. Okay, it looks like could zigzag the cue ball. I think he's coming 3 rails maybe. I like the zigzag myself between the 7-9. Just let the stroke open up the cue ball like that.
And it appears as though the hard work in this rack has been done. All about concentration now.
I thought he would, I would come down a little further. Yeah, be aggressive coming at the 7. You know, when you're out of line a little bit, you back off and you kind of work a little harder on the next shot. But when you're in line, go ahead and that's what I like. Come at it because you're going to control everything so well when you're in close proximity. Again, maybe not ideal angle, but when you're only, 2 feet away, 18, 20 inches away from the object ball, now they're really hard to knock how you want to play it just because accuracy at a premium. Thought he'd get a hair better than this, but he's okay.
Not the kind of 9 ball you expect Shane Van Boening to botch. In it goes. So SVB on the hill, already into the last 16 tomorrow, is another giant of the game from right here in Germany, Joshua Filler.
A much different story to yesterday. You must be happy with how you played today.
Yeah, I mean, the first one against Suto, of course, Suto is playing much better now. He's more into the tour, and well, I knew I had to play much better than yesterday, but it was obvious. But against Suto, I played my perfect match on these pockets, and I never missed the ball. Played good safeties, put him under pressure all the time, broke much better. So I had a lot more confidence. And then on the second match, I missed maybe 2 easy ones, or middle easy. So I'm super happy, and I think I needed that pressure that I have only one more lifeline, and yeah, that's what I needed. I need more pressure, I think, because yesterday was, I don't know, just not fighting. My confidence wasn't there, and my mood was also like, maybe you want to go home or something. I wasn't at the tournament really, but today I woke up, had some nice conversations with friends who helped me with my mindset.
What an interesting perspective from Joshua Filler, saying,
but today I woke up,
a sentence you don't very often hear: I need more pressure.
Yeah, well, I've always said about Josh that, and there's many players really, but Josh always gives you such a genuine interview. That's what I love about the guy, and really not afraid to tell you what he honestly felt and what's honestly going on. And huge shot here for SVB. Clean as a whistle there. Probably the best strike of the match for me.
And what Filler said, it might apply to SVB in this match, because he's come alive when he's been in crisis.
Yeah, and he's played a really good one earlier overall, even though it was a close match. So he's taken his extension. A rare shot, one of the shots when you first learn it as a pool player, you think it's the best thing since white bread, or sliced bread rather. But now a little draw with inside, I think. Not a shot you want to shoot very often, though. 3 rails towards the 9, between the 8 and 9 maybe.
Best shots in sliced bread, and there, using his loaf.
Yeah, well, that's like the first rack in this game. He shot all kinds of different shots, it seemed, and I thought it was really going to bode well for his match, and looks like he's going to end in the right frame of mind. Did he go enough here? This is close. Is he going towards the 9 with the cue ball? He wanted to just be able to follow. Looks like he's okay.
Excitement in the arena on table 2. Kazakis and Alner just gone hill.
All right, one little bit thin 8-ball here. And again, it's close to it, so accuracy should be all right. Going to come up for the side. Is he going to go past the 9 off the top cushion? Ooh. You took a second look at that, Phil.
Balls don't go in easily off those middle pocket jaws. But the 9 went in easily. Shane van Boening is through to the last 16. He's through to the penultimate day of the European Open. He was 4-1 ahead in cruising. He was 6-5 down and seemingly in a spot of bother. But then he won the next 5 racks. Shane van Boening defeats Ramazan Akdag by 10 racks to 6. And now he awaits either the defending champion, David Al-Kaidi, or Fitim Haradinaj in the last 16 tomorrow. Al-Kaidi and Haradinaj, early days. It's 2-2 there. Next up, here on the main table, we've got the delights of watching the reigning World Masters champion and the reigning World 9-ball champion, Fedor Gorst. He takes on Alexa Pachelsh in a race to 10 for another place in the last 16.